Welcome to the War Room. Sorry for the delay, guys. I thought that episode 4 was going to start at noon. I know I was busy doing some other stuff. We've got to get an NHL mock draft 5 rounds up in code for tomorrow to post on our site, CCAC North Campus. So I went there, and we're going to just have a quick 30-minute show on the NBA draft prospects. I don't know if I'll get all the centers that I wanted to get in today. I wanted to watch Kristaps Porzingis, Miles Turner, Frank Kaminsky, and Robert Upshaw. Now, we saw Kaminsky play well against Okafor in those 2 games of tape, but I want to see what he can do against other teams, other competition. So we're going to watch Porzingis. This is a 13-minute tape, and we're going to start that. See where we can go with this. So here's Porzingis. He's going down the court. Good layup there. And he does a good job leaping, jumping in the air. And I guess there is some short-range game here with this guy. But he relies on that dunk. You look at all of his shots. Okafor can hit short range, long range, or medium range. Karl Towns can do the same thing. Moutier, all the top 4 players can do this, okay? I mean, this guy will go after the ball, and he will get the dunks. If you take away Porzingis' ability to deliver in the short game, you can take him out of the game completely. That's what it looks like. Yeah, the more I see this guy, the more I'm thinking this is Latvia's version of Sean Bradley. And for those who don't know who Sean Bradley was, he was taken, I think, 2nd overall in the Chris Webber draft. It might have been the Shaq draft, but I think it was the Chris Webber draft. And we can watch that after. Well, I'll watch that on YouTube after we air the War Room. He simply got too much to cover in such a quick time span. So we'll watch up until this point, and then we'll fast forward to this point. So, because I do want to see some stuff, but at the same time, time is certainly an issue of the essence. But Porzingis is projected to go in the top 5. I also forgot Willie Cauley-Stein. I think I had Willie Cauley-Stein at number 12 in my NBA mock. So we've got him as well as Miles Turner, and there's Takari Johnson as well. So there are there's 2 Kentucky bigs that we got to watch in this draft. So he's 7'1". So he shoots 37.9 from 3-point land. Not bad. Let's see what he can do here in these shots. Wow. Okay, he can hit the 3-point ball. But I do need to see some medium range shots. I want to see what this guy can do from mid-range. He can hit the deep ball. He can hit short range. So if you catch him if you put traffic on him, he's going to struggle to catch the ball. Meaning that he cannot play well if you put defense on him. Court vision. That's not good. You need defensive awareness if you're going to play basketball. Too fast, passing struggles. So he doesn't have awareness. He doesn't have a good basketball IQ. I don't know if that's because he played overseas, but the fact that he's making these silly fundamental mistakes, he's got shooting of a lottery pick, but I don't think this is a guy I would take with a top 5 draft choice. I've seen enough on tape to know that he's a bust. Yeah, thanks. Follow Mike Schmitz on Twitter. All right, so the next NBA player we're going to watch is Willie Cauley-Stein. We've already seen Kaminsky on tape. There is a guy from India I want to watch, and there's a guy from France that are second-round prospects. We already watched that, so we've already seen some Willie Cauley-Stein. All right. So, and Cauley-Stein, he struggled some, but he also had some good moments. So, and he's done well. So I think Cauley-Stein, you can make the case for putting him in the top 10 or the top 12. Let's watch Miles Turner versus Kentucky. I wanted to watch this game on TV, but I was working at Panera that night, so we're going to see what Miles Turner can do here. Yes, so he only played 5 foul trouble. And I think that's what took Miles Turner out of the top 10. Now, Miles Turner was a top 5 draft pick before this game. But all 30 NBA teams were in attendance at this game, and not impressing those teams was the biggest reason why Miles Turner slipped in the NBA draft. And I take sports pretty seriously, but I also try to have fun with it. Which is why I have the highlights of the players while I'm talking instead of just speaking directly into the camera and having me to do all the talking. That's boring. It's real, but it's also kind of boring. We're not going to get that many viewers if we just focus on if I just zoom in on my face and talk the whole time. You don't want to hear someone go on an excessive rant and then not show anything for it. Kentucky scored on Miles Turner. So Miles Turner, this is the one game where Miles Turner did poorly. He fouls out. He struggles to go after the rebound. And this was a statement game for Miles Turner, because if Miles Turner dominates this game and Texas wins, guess what? Miles Turner surpasses Okafor for a chance to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. That's how big of a game this was for Miles Turner. But Miles did not deliver in this game, and he was limited to 6 points against Kentucky. So the Rays hired the Indians bullpen coach to be their manager. That's why they're much better. misses a shot. So Miles Turner just keeps missing these basic free throws. John Calipari was trending on Twitter earlier today. Yeah, I mean, he gets outmanned by Willie Cauley-Stein. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons of why Willie Cauley-Stein is ranked ahead of him on draft boards. The fact that Miles Turner lost that matchup on tape, and you don't see a top 10 draft choice. You just don't. And we're going to watch. We've already seen some Kaminsky. Kaminsky looks like a lottery pick. Miles Turner could slip to 15. He's going to go in that 11 to 15 range, but he's not a top 10 pick. So yeah, just Miles Turner is a guy that just he's in a position to make a play. Nothing happens. Pick and pop. So let's watch here. Turner's just standing there. Oh, wait, they're on offense. But still, they miss a shot. And this is probably the game that cost him his draft stock as a top 5 pick, because the guy looked really good. He was shooting like Dirk Nowitzki in some of his games on tape. And then he has this game where he just lays an egg against Kentucky. And he had Isaiah Austin and Jonathan Holmes. So it wasn't just him. It was just this entire team getting outmanned by Kentucky. See, I guarantee you watch the NBA draft on ESPN, they are not going to show Miles Turner's highlights against Kentucky because they want to make these athletes look as good as possible. That's the truth. Now, Frank Kaminsky, the 7-foot center out of Wisconsin, we already saw him twice against Kentucky and Duke with the Final Four on tape. He's legit. Willie Cauley-Stein is legit. I don't think Miles Turner is as good as those two players. Which is why I skipped the Kaminsky tape. I watched Cauley-Stein, and time is an issue. So, Robert Upshaw and Dakari Johnson. Let's watch some Dakari Johnson, and then we'll watch some Robert Upshaw. Dakari Johnson. Okay, this guy was relying on his layups. Robert Upshaw. I heard Robert Upshaw does have some character issues. I don't know if that's true. I can't really say. We don't. So I'm just watching these videos for educational purposes. And Mike Schmitz and the people at Draft Express do an awesome job with this stuff. So he got dismissed from Washington. And Washington was 2-9 after Upshaw got dismissed. Personally, I wouldn't take this guy in the first round because Caleb Tarczewski returned to school, A.J. Hammond's returned to school, all these other big man centers returned to school. I definitely think Robert Upshaw is going to creep his way in this late first round. So he's 7 foot and he's got a 7'4" wingspan, 74.7% in short range with shots at the rim. Okay, he's motivated, so just goes on the breakaway there with the jam. Money. Yeah. Robert Upshaw, this isn't a guy I'd pay a lot of money to. I'm not sure if, but he was the #1 shot blocker in the entire NCAA. I'm just learning this stuff, so yeah. I am going to call it a day after this. I don't know why I want to make this show so short, but I want to limit the timing of this video. He was dismissed from 2 schools. Yeah, I'm not drafting this guy. So I know there's Mohamed Jata of France, and then there's the guy from India, but I'm not sure if either one of those guys is in the first round, and I'm also not sure if we're going to have time to watch both players because I've got a lot of work to do today. But let's go over what we learned through the first round draft choices at center. Kristaps Porzingis is probably going to switch to power forward. Some have measured him in. At the time, 2 months ago, he was listed at 7'1", but I think he was listed lower in terms of height at the NBA Combine. And I'm pretty certain that that will affect his stock. I'm also looking at Willie Cauley-Stein and Frank Kaminsky. Both of those players are top 10 talents, and you can make a case for taking either player with a top 10 pick. But at the same time, you look at those teams picking 6 through 10. Sacramento, you've got I'm trying to think of some of the other teams picking in the top 10. But Sacramento picks at 6. I think Denver picks it in the top 10. I'm having a little brain freeze here. I know the top 5 is Orlando, New York, Lakers pick 2nd, the Sixers pick 3rd, the Knicks pick 4th, the Timberwolves, the Magic pick 5th. That's the top 5. But I don't think Porzingis is a top 5 pick. I look at a bust in him. I wouldn't take Cauley-Stein or Kaminsky at 5. They're both talented centers, but I don't think either one can make a case for going to Orlando in that top 5. You're also looking at Robert Upshaw. He got dismissed from 2 universities. I only thought he got dismissed from Washington, but he got dismissed from Fresno State as well. Forget it. Forget it. You get dismissed from 1 university, you move down, you move out of the first round. You get dismissed from 2 universities, you move off my draft board completely. Despite this, he led the nation in blocks. He's the most blocks per game, and he's one of the most talented centers. He has a 7'4" wingspan. He'll get drafted in the first round, but he's a second-round talent due to his character concerns. He's a first-round talent in terms of production, but you shouldn't draft this guy because of the fact that he got dismissed from 2 universities in 3 years. That's a major red flag. The fact that he got dismissed from 1 is a red flag, but if you draft this guy, you're basically waving the white flag and surrendering your right to have a premium center, because I don't think he's going to reach his potential. The fact that he got dismissed from 2 universities, that's almost as bad as what Marcus Smart did last year at Oklahoma State when he got into that fight with the fan, and then he got into another fight with the Celtics. So the character thing is huge with me, and Robert Upshaw didn't provide that. So I don't think he's a first-round pick. Coming up tomorrow, we will discuss the NHL draft, or we'll have Joseph Potter on to talk Ole Miss football. We don't know what we're going to do yet tomorrow at noon, and after that, we won't be back until Tuesday, unfortunately. Wait, maybe Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. We're not going to be back until Wednesday because the MLB draft is going to be this Monday on June 8th, and I'm going to be busy with that like crazy. So, and Tuesday, I'm probably going to need a lot of rest to recover from an all-nighter that is the MLB draft. Stanley Cup's going to be on Tuesday, so I'll be having 2 nights. I know I'm saying and pausing. That's not good. But that's the thing, though. The MLB draft is Monday, and I'm going to have to code like crazy while I'm doing my podcast. We will do a separate Google Hangout for the MLB draft because I think I did one for the MLS Super Draft and the NFL draft. So We'll do one for the MLB as well, and I'll be on TalkShoe at the same time. So you can see that. You can see the picks that we're coding on our site. And then we'll have the live results. We'll have the draft ticker up. Then on Tuesday, it'll be like an off day where I can write my draft grades. And then Wednesday, we'll be back I'll probably do Wednesday, and then Wednesday through Friday, it'll be a 3-day thing this week, and probably do NFL on Wednesday, NBA on Thursday, NHL on Friday, where we keep going through the prospects. And tweet us at Draft Utopia if you want us to do a certain prospect for the War Room. This is Chris Ransom, and I'm dribbling my way off the court. That is the War Room.